suddenly twisted and deformed in his hand. Then the entire cabin began to shake violently. Passengers who witnessed this scene were all shocked. At this point, the captain also realized the danger. They put on their oxygen masks. The oxygen masks popped out due to cabin depressurization, but Jack's wife didn't have time to breathe in the oxygen. She fainted due to difficulty breathing. In order to save his wife, Jack ran to the flight attendant's work area. He found a bottle of emergency oxygen from the emergency room and quickly put it on his wife. This saved his wife's life. But after a violent turbulence, the cabin pressure value returned to normal. In order to reassure the passengers, the captain immediately made an announcement to the cabin. It turned out that the plane had just encountered a storm while crossing an air current, but they had already made emergency preparations, so the passengers don't need to worry too much, just when they thought a disaster had finally ended. But at this moment, strange things happened on the plane. A middle-aged man suddenly felt short of breath. The frightened flight attendant hurriedly asked if there was a doctor who could help. After hearing the announcement, Jack rushed over immediately, but by this time the man's condition was getting worse. He kept clawing at his mouth with his fingers. Then the man suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. Immediately afterwards, his whole body began to convulse, but soon he was motionless. It wasn't until they put him on the floor, Jack discovered that the man's heart had stopped beating because it would take another hour to reach their destination. The crew had no choice but to move the corpse to the business class on the second floor, but a man sneaked up to the second floor. It turned out that when the crew was carrying the corpse, he noticed a gold watch on the deceased's hand. He wanted to quietly take that gold watch away, but just as the guy snatched the gold watch, he didn't leave. Instead, he took out his phone to commemorate in front of the camera. He kept showing off. He even began to insult the deceased. As a result, in the next second, the corpse turned its head. Immediately afterwards, the corpse stood up. The man was scared out of his wits and let out a piercing scream.